So we'll be talking about what's trending, and right now I'll be talking about the Philippines, and on Friday, Sneha and Anna will be talking about Nicaragua and India. So before we start, I would like to maybe have like a warm-up activity where you come into your groups and then make a definition and then make an example out of that definition of what you think a trend is. So maybe let's say 3 minutes. Sound good?
He's doing my first lesson. I love it. Y'all better be ready Thursday.
Yeah, I'll set a timer for 3 minutes.
What a lot of people are doing. Yeah, like what's really happening. Like what is nice. A lot of people know about. Basically, a lot of people know about. I'm so proud of you. That's something that people are doing. A lot of people know about.
Take a stool back and you can sit down. You good? You're fine.
A trend is like what's new or what's like what everybody's talking about and what's popular.
What is the example your group chose?
Oh, she said, what was the example your group chose for a trend? Had you gotten that far?
No.
Okay, she said they didn't get that far. I'll get you another example.
That's fine.
Anybody have anything that's trending that you talk about?
That's a really good definition, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, and also one more thing.
Last year, fidgets.
Oh, fidget spinners.
Fidget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny trend. Yeah, so those are examples of a trend. You guys have a good idea of what the trend
Quiet
is.
so that we can hear.
So let's move on to the next slide. Those are all great definitions. And move on.
Hold on 1 second. We have one more trend.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
The shooting in what's it? Las Vegas? Yeah.
Los Angeles or that concert.
The concert.
Yeah. So yeah. I think there are different kinds of trends. There are like news trends and then pop culture trends, but both of them are both trends, but just depending on the category. So that is another unfortunate trend, but a trend nonetheless. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. So throughout this whole presentation, we thought about what a trend is and what examples we can think of that are trends. But now I would like to make you guys put this in ask this in the back of your mind throughout the presentation. So these two questions are: how do trends start, and what roles do trends play in society and culture, and maybe how it plays in your own community. So those are two things to think about throughout our discussions of trends. So to the Philippines, the trends that I've found are the all-time hits. So these are the trends that have always been very big in Filipino culture. And these go to people and to genres that that are very popular in the Philippines. So here's a list. So there's Manny Pacquiao, and after this this slide, I'll have more specific pictures for these lists so that I can talk more about them. But just a quick view of the trends in the Philippines. There's Manny Pacquiao, a boxer, if you guys know him, and karaoke, where I guess you have a TV and then you have a song playing without like any singer, and the one singing is either you or someone else in the crowd. And we also love romance dramas and comedies, and most of our like for movies and books and stuff like that, and maybe TV series. And then for songs, for some reason, Filipinos love and breakup songs. It's just a thing in the Philippines. And then we have this fast food chain restaurant called Jollibee, and we're gonna watch a video about their advertisements that kind of reflect, other trends in the Philippines. So on to the first one, Manny Pacquiao. In the Philippines, this guy is really huge. If you guys are familiar with maybe him having a match with Mayweather, or maybe your parents talk about like, oh, let's watch Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather. You might have heard that around, but he's a very popular person in our country because not only is he a very prominent boxer in the world of boxing and sports, but he's also actually running for political spots in the country. So I think one time he ran for a congressman, and I think he is now a congressman too. So he's known internationally, which is why we back him up as a boxing star. And he's also very concerned with what's happening around in our country. So he ran for a political position. So that's Manny Pacquiao. It's also called Pac-Man. And you can see those three pictures here, being a boxer, and then here being a congressman. Next, we have karaoke. So the karaoke is really huge in the Philippines, and right over here to your left, you'll see this is what like the setting it would be like for karaoke. It would be there in a house with like a lot of people gathered together and then singing a song that they love. And usually like whenever there's a party or a get together or just anything, or just any get together, there would always be karaoke. And this could last like an hour, 2 hours, just of people just singing continuously songs that they love, like old classics. My parents would also hold these, and they would play songs from the 90s that they loved when they were kids too. So there's always that. Not only that, but there are also like, the regular, yeah. So it's usually the home setting, and sometimes it's also outside. They would set up the TV and then microphone, and sing out any songs. Karaoke is really huge activity. And then for movies, we usually gravitate towards love stories, like romances, comedies and dramas. And two huge things are like love, finding love, between two couples as a story plot. And then another huge plot is family drama. And that family drama comes from, people in the Philippines who have family members that move abroad, like we talked about last time, where immigration was a thing, where a family member would leave the Philippines to go to another country to make money and support their family back in the Philippines. And so there is some drama that comes over there where maybe usually the parents would leave and the children, the whole family would stay back because they can't afford the flight, to a different country. So what happens is, whenever the parents would come back to their kids, after a long period of time being abroad, working a job to support them, the children sometimes feel like they were abandoned by their parents because they don't get to spend time with them because they're working, abroad, far away from where they live. And so there's just this feeling of abandonment that's a very huge component of family drama. And so there's this one, we're Try to Find Love, and then this other one with the family drama that I found that's pretty popular in the Philippines. And these are specifically telenovelas, so kind of like TV series. And then you have Jollibee. So Jollibee is a fast food chain that originally was from the Philippines. So it is from the Philippines, but now they have international chains around the US. Right now, I think they have one in New York, Virginia, Texas, and Florida. I've been to like the one in New York and like all the ones at the East Coast. And then, yeah, but the kind of food that they provide are basically fried chicken and then some traditional Filipino meals like spaghetti or sweet spaghetti, not the not the regular spaghetti that you would get from other restaurants. A bit sweeter, and you would have like some sausage in there. And then these are just right here. These are just kind of like their American menu because they kind of adjust, just like in how McDonald's would adjust their foods in other countries like the Philippines. Yeah, it'd just be different. They'll be adapting, but the main part is that they have fried chicken and a lot of Filipino foods. This is a huge restaurant chain, and yeah. And while I talked about the genres that are huge in the Philippines, just like the genres as in romance and breakups and stuff like that. Here's a Jollibee not trailer, but like an ad. It's very reflective of the sentiment of finding love, and yeah. So I'll show you this video. And I think one thing else I should add is because Jollibee is huge, their their promotional stuff also become trends in the Philippines, which is pretty funny. So here's a very perfect example of the feel that you get from Filipino media. And I'll play it right now. That's the English subtitles. So that's a taste of some Filipino advertising for you. And some things to note from that ad is that Filipinos, they like things that are at least like as almost like a mass culture where people like to be very feely about things, and so things like that is very popular in the Philippines. We have this thing called kilig, which can't really be translated to English, but it's more like that warm, fuzzy feeling kind of deal. That's what kilig is, and yeah, that's one aspect, a huge aspect in Filipino culture that is also like that has affected trends there. And besides the all-time trends, I talked to my cousin last night and said that there were some other things that were trending. So there's this new kind of like trend where people would say words backwards. Like instead of saying I, like not strictly backwards, but just in different, like the letters arranged in different ways. Where instead of saying idol, like American Idol, you say Lloyd or Doyle or something like that. I don't fully understand like that trend, but he said that that was one thing that was happening. Besides that, again, going with the movies, how there's romance and drama, you can see this 100 tula para kay Stella. That means 100 stairs for Stella. And I read that the premise of the movie was that the girl had stuttering issues, and her goal was to make 100 poems. Yeah, I guess just to get better. And then that's another romance story. And well, both of the hits in the Philippines are actually romance movies. And then for songs, right now, my Despacito is a huge hit, just like everywhere else, like most other places. So that's that. And yeah, I'll open it up to questions for now before we do any activities. I feel like I might have gone too fast, but if you have any questions, feel free to tell me now. Does anyone have any questions? Or like maybe something that you would like to share? Comments?
No questions?
Yeah, that's fine. I have questions for you guys. Okay, so as an activity, I'll set it up right now. Let me share my screen again. Here are some things that I would like. You guys get into groups and then maybe take some time to write down your answers. Here are some 3 questions that I would like you to maybe answer. Here we go. Here we go. List what you see is trending locally. So maybe what's trending in your schools. Someone mentioned fidget spinners, then another person mentioned, the news about the concert and that event. So yeah, come together, make a list of what's trending. Maybe just come up with whatever comes to mind is very huge, like what's big around your school, your city, your neighborhood, or in the United States in general. And then after that, you can list what are some similarities and differences between what's trending here in the US and what's trending in the Philippines. And then another last question is, what do trends say about society? So I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to come together, come up with answers, and we'll discuss after 5 minutes. I'll set a timer. There we go.
All right, pick a person at your table. It's going to be a recorder since we don't have our computer. All right. No, you can write in your notes. You just say it's collaboration time. Michael's going to record.
Local, city, or in the US. Okay, I put slang person in troublemaking because that's all this. Yes, they are. I didn't do water. I didn't do water. His last birthday, I got one. But I find a little bit fun. What? Exactly. I remember being well, what? You should have at least 5 trends. At least 5. At least 5. Definitely gave up the white. Definitely gave up the white. You want to know what Donald Trump said to his life? What? He knew what he was doing when he signed up. Sign up? He signed up for Donald Trump. I don't think he signed up to get the not Oh, Pokemon. Oh, yeah. Everyone's always trying to catch the Pokemon. So much so. They don't even care. It's a hit by extreme. Oh, seriously. Like, they don't even care if they're getting hit by. If they're about to get hit by a car, as long as they get that stupid Navigators. Freaking stupid Charizard. And plus, people find strange things. Why the news when someone's got a dead body. I'm not telling them all true.
Trump, yeah, Trump.
Charizard is the
No, they were
one that is public. And here's the thing. What's the Pokemon that's in a kid's game? It says evil everywhere. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright, so I have this group has something, this group has something, this group. What do you have something? Do you gentlemen have something? Okay, great. Have you thought about similarities and differences compared to what you learned about Philippines? Similarities and differences? Want to make sure you're answering all the questions.
Both the U.S. and the Philippines have their trending restaurants. Like Chick-fil-A is pretty popular here, and Volleyball is popular here. To be honest, I don't want to go to Dolly. There's actually a Final Freddy's fan game called FNAF Jolly. They're similar. And Jolly 2, Jolly is like Jolly.
Do not forget that last one is important. What do trends say about society? What do trends say about society?
Yeah. Are we all ready? Want some extra time?
The last question.
It's not like they're gonna change it.
Oh yeah, you can get it.
Oh yeah, but it's going to take a while.
I think
At least.
I think they're ready whenever you are.
Okay, sweet. Anyone come up and give an answer?
All right, we want your trends, folks. Come share your trends. One at a time, please. No, one per group.
One trend that
Hold on. Let's wait and make sure we're being respectful to our classmates. Kendra.
one trend that we had was Donald Trump forgetting the name of the fallen hero.
Right.
That literally just happened.
All right, thank you.
One trend is hurricanes, like Hurricane Irma and stuff in Texas.
Right. So these are all news trends. Any pop trends like fidget spinner?
Trend we had was the football players taking a knee during the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, that's also pretty big. Let me see some other trends that I can think of so I can contribute to this.
We have a few: the fight between Donald Trump and North Korea, the terrorist attack in Las Vegas, and Trump letting out the files of JFK's murder.
Yeah, a lot about Trump.
Come on, Quasi.
The trend we had was like nowadays many people seem to be talking about shoes and like different kinds of shoes and like popular shoes.
Like Jordans.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, I think that's each group.
I see. So what about similarities and differences between the US and the Philippines?
We have two similarities. We have Jubilee similar to Popeyes, and then they both have drama shows.
They both have what?
Drama shows like
Oh, okay.
reality TV. Is that what you ladies were talking about? Be compared to drama shows.
I can see that. Is it Popeye the cartoon show, or do they also give out like, advertisements?
Oh no, I think they were talking about Jollibee's. The restaurant was similar to Popeye's chicken.
Yeah. Okay.
They both have their trending restaurants. Like the Philippines has Jollibee, and the U.S. has its popular places like Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Bojangles, etc.
Mm-hmm. So I guess fast food is a big thing in different countries.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Any differences?
Any major differences? You have a similarity?
Yes. I guess just kind of music, music and TV. I guess we kind of group those together because like nowadays, especially with like you're able to stream things like everyone. They're either watching something or listening to something. So I guess that could be how like a similarity between the U.S. to like Philippines, since like as you said, there were like karaoke and drama shows, things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
They're different because like the Philippines has their own style. Like theirs is like more sophisticated and like probably has more problems than the U.S.
Yeah. I think it's more like different perspectives in how they view things, like different lenses, kind of. Where the Filipino, like a lot of Filipino drama is based around romance and family, and American drama is very close to like work related stuff. At least so those are some things I can draw.
Here in America, like drama and like romance doesn't seem to be as popular in the Philippines.
Yeah, for sure. So does anyone? So I guess those are all great answers. Now for the last question, a huge question. Does anyone have anything to say or comment about that? So what do trends say about our culture? Right? What do trends in the U.S. Say about what life in the U.S. is like, or what the culture is like?
Trends kind of shape the way that society is made up, I guess, because like without trends they wouldn't like know what to like do on at that certain time. Like should they mourn for the deceased or celebrate for the living.
Okay. I think especially now that we can communicate effectively, trends, because if you think about it, back in the day before radios were a thing or telegraphs were a thing, people usually don't know what's happening halfway around the world, or people don't know what's happening maybe, say, 100 miles or 200 miles away from where they live. But now that we have technology, we have news reporters, we have helicopters going to places, journalists going to different countries through planes, and Snapchat. I guess that's something that contributes to how trends spread to, and also having the access. So yeah. And apart from those questions, if no one else has anything to say, that's just the conclusion of. And Anna and Sneha will continue.
When something is trending, it technically brings the community together in some way. Like, sure, there might be a few arguments, but it shows how like the community is.
I like that. Yeah. So yeah. That's all I have. Yeah. So, anyone else has any questions or something they want to ask about culture, about what's trending, and stuff like that? You can feel free to ask now. And then otherwise, I don't really have. This is the end of my presentation. If you do have questions, you can ask Sneha and Anna. And I think one challenge that they wanted me to challenge you guys is that maybe you can try to start a trend in your school and then report that to the next discussion with Anna and Sneha. So maybe, I don't know, make a little dance and make it trend around your school or something like that. Or maybe you can make your own little, I don't know, text style. I don't know. Yeah, something to think about. You can start a trend and then say how your progress is in the next discussion.
They can start saying words backwards, like in the Philippines. They do that also in France.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called verlan because they say it à l'envers. They say it in reverse. Yeah, it's very common there.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.